1 second, guys. I think my sister got engaged. I'll be right back. Okay. LOL. Yeah, I know. I fire up the stream. We knew it was happening today, but we didn't know when. And of course, as soon as I fire up the stream, my sister gets engaged, and now everybody's like screaming over here. So, congratulations to my sister, who is now engaged. Sorry about the rough start of, hey, I'm here, but I'm not. So anyway, we are working on this PC today. I have it actually running because I needed to verify a couple of things. One, that we have the right drive that we're replacing, but we're also going to be doing a graphics card upgrade on this as well. So this is actually a PC that I built, I think it was a couple of years ago now. It was actually during the great tough depression times where everything was so expensive you couldn't build a PC. And I think we built this for around $600 or so, which is actually a pretty decent PC for $600, given the issues that we had during that time, the supply issues of, one, getting parts and getting parts for a decent price. So this is a Intel i3, I believe that's under here, with a B460M Wi-Fi micro ATX motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM. It also originally had a 240 gig SATA SSD, and I think a 1 terabyte hard drive in it, which was around the time I was transitioning out of that design and going straight SSD, no hard drive. You know, a larger SSD and eliminate the hard drive itself, because it made more sense at that time to transition. But this is an RX 550 4 gigabyte graphics card in here. Now, if you look closely, we're gonna have to do a physical clean. I don't have the graphics card secured right now, so I am gonna be careful while I'm maneuvering it. But you can see it needs a good clean. So we're gonna do a quick clean on this, and then we'll dive into adding the graphics card. The original reason why I came in here, though, was the original reason why the computer came in was because it was booting to the BIOS and it wasn't booting up to Windows. So the original problem is that for some reason, all of the storage in this unit spontaneously combusted all at the same time, except for the 240 gig SSD, which is the original SSD that was in this 2 years ago. So the hard drive is not reading. The SSD, the M.2 that was in here, that I believe we added later down the road, is no longer being read either. So it was, my assumption is that something happened to this PC, like a power surge, and it took out all of the storage, and luckily nothing else. That's my assumption. I don't know how else storage like that all at once can just die or stop working. It's quite strange. So if anybody else has any ideas as to why this happened, I would love to know. And I'm going to move us back over here so we're a little bit more centered, because I had to move the camera and borrow it for something else earlier. Woohoo! All right. So I'm going to start with physically cleaning this thing out. So we're going to shut it back down because I was just testing to make sure the SSD was being read in the slot so that it wasn't a motherboard issue. So I did the majority of the troubleshooting already, just to kind of figure out and also provide the customer with a price, and so that we could get the parts for fixing this. So all of that's already been done. So I'm just actually gonna shut it down. We're gonna clean it real quick. So let's get this thing cleaned. Would a surge protector keep the power surge from wiping out the storage drives? Yes, it would help. 100%. I'm thinking of updating my GPU. Nice! Yeah, getting a graphics card actually right now is not a bad idea. Especially with the releases, though you could wait just a little bit more, and you know, depending on what card you're targeting, it might, you know, vary. So if you're going for like an RTX like 4080, 4060, what's your motherboard and CPU combo? I don't remember, Flacco, or if you've been in here before. I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I work with so many computers now, and parts, and people. My brain's starting to go. Can't keep track of stuff, which is why I write everything down now. I could probably look it up if you were here before. Let me know what the motherboard and CPU combo is that you currently are running. But you might be able to do better with either an AMD card or okay, you look awesome. Yeah, either an AMD card or like an RTX 3060. I know it just depends on the motherboard and CPU combo. Basically, I'm looking for, do you have PCIe 4.0 support? Because if you don't, then I am not going to recommend the 4060 for you. So I'm going to take this outside real quick and blow it out, because it desperately needs it. If you look very closely here, you'll see a lot of evidence of this PC being used. Very dirty. Very dirty. We're gonna clean this up real quick, and then we'll start with the upgrade. Much better. Much cleaner. We got all that dust out of there. This filter needs a good cleaning. You can see there's just a lot of cake stuff here. Right here and here where the fans are, or were. Needs a good wipe down. Good wipe down it needs, yep. There's also signs of maybe a spillage that happened at some point. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of good signs that there was a spillage here that could have also caused our problems. So for awareness, if you keep your PC on the floor or below your desk, always be mindful of your drinks, because if they're targeted or positioned to drip or dump onto your PC, it will cause a lot of problems. So you saw there all that spillage residue. We know for sure something got spilled on this PC at some point. Go ahead and wipe all that down so we get it cleaned up. But look at all that. You can see it all over the mesh here, that something happened that involved spilling something, and it looks like it was a white substance, like a milk or something. Surprised there's no other problems with the PC, at least at this point that I've found. If this was the case, maybe he got lucky and it dried out and nothing got shorted. But you can clearly see something got spilled here. But if you're going to keep your PC on the floor, keep your drinks away from your PC. Like, way other side of the desk. Away from the PC. Or keep your PC on top of the desk. And you won't have that issue. There's not a whole lot I can do to clean that out. I could take this out and soak it. That's about it. Which I might go do. Just clean it up. That's why you don't keep your drinks near your computer. That kind of stuff will happen. Especially if it's on the floor, like I said. Just be very careful. I actually see that a lot where drinks get spilled on PCs. This thing needed a good cleaning. Hi. I don't know if this filter comes off. Look at how dirty that is. Much better. That is also much better. Much cleaner. What do you spray on the screen to clean it? You could probably just use a Windex and then use a microfiber cloth or a paper towel. But don't go heavy on the Windex. Just a little bit, light, just a mist. Don't spray a crazy ton because it'll leak down into the bottom of the screen where you're not going to be able to wipe. So just a little mist, or even spray it on the towel, then wipe. Don't spray directly onto the screen itself. But Windex, not the off-brand. Off-brand makes streaks. The Windex does not. So The other option is just paper towel and water, but you're likely to have streaks from that because of whatever residue might be on the screen itself. So whatever you have on hand works. Water, paper towel. All right, so now that we've got that all cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and replace the old school BioStar RX 550 with an RX 6600. I already added the 1 terabyte M.2 SSD here, so we've already got our SSD installed down there. We can zoom in. This is our new one. So you'll see that that's already in there, ready to go. That one's by Inland. It's a TN320, which has, I think, 2000 megabytes read-write. It's a Gen 3 drive, so nothing too crazy. But for the upgrade, we are going with the ASRock, excuse me, the ASRock RX 6600, which is the Challenger. So it's got a nice backplate to it. It's a great little card. Substantial upgrade from the RX 550 from where you were before. So just in comparison, you know, we're going from this little guy right here to that thing. So we're going to have a little bit more horsepower for FPS. Should almost be night and day difference when it comes to your FPS. This card does require external power, so a PCIe 8-pin power connection from the power supply will be required, which your 450 watt that was in here, or is in here, should have one of those, so we'll have to dig that out, and we'll be utilizing that. The other card, the B550, or the RX 550, sorry, did not require external power, so it just got its power through the PCIe slot. This card needs more power, so we're going to be adding that. It also looks like the clip on the PCIe slot was missing, so I don't know if maybe the card was removed once or twice in the past. That was definitely done, and the clip is missing. There we go. Graphics card's in. Now we just got to fish out that power supply cable. Should be back here in the back, hanging out somewhere. For example, right here. Trying to find the best way to get up there. I guess we're gonna go this route. And I'll zip tie this up so it's not looking as cheesy. And so we don't have cables flopping all over the place. We don't want that. I forgot we were zoomed in. Sorry. So I got our cable routed from the back up here towards the front, and then our power cable plugged into the video card, PCIe 8-pin, to get us power. Y'all need to say something when you can't see. Hey, Ben. Wake up. There we go. Brand new RX 6600 in there. Did I forget to peel that? I'm special. There's a peel on there I'll have to peel. I always forget this is on there. Not a good idea to leave that on there, though. Don't think the fans have any. Nope. Okay. We're good. Alright, so now we could actually just fire this bad boy up. We're going to go right into Windows. My capture card does not like to work until we're at full 1080p screen resolution. And with that, we have a driver installed. So my capture card will have to wait for a driver. I don't know why I left these on here. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Looking good. And I already did start the installation of Windows, so we're already at Windows 10 Pro, I believe is what we went with. We're also going to be doing a BIOS update on this one as well. Definitely know that this thing needs a BIOS update. It's been a while. probably since it's gotten any type of attention. But we are already at the Windows loading screen, so I'm going to go ahead and set up a local profile so we could get started on that. I don't think our capture card is going to capture yet, but we could try it. Don't hurt to try. Come on. Come on, Betsy. Let's go. Yeah, it is HDMI technically. Display. Don't think it's gonna work. Nope. Fine. No capture card yet. Uh-oh. Oh no. Will everything need to be reloaded again? Yes. Yes, everything will need to be re-downloaded. Unfortunately, the storage that I mentioned that needs to be replaced is where all of your games are installed, and none of it's working right. So I don't know why the SSD on the motherboard and the hard drive in the back both failed, and then there's no partition on the solid state drive, or at least there's no Windows bootable partition on the solid state drive, the SATA solid state drive. But as of right now, from what I'm seeing, everything needs to be reloaded again. Yes, because I have to reinstall Windows on the new drive. I still have the old drive here, so if there's anything you need off of it, we might be able to get it to fire up. I just can't guarantee anything there. Just realized the volume on the microphone was way up. Sorry. That's the problem with these HyperX microphones, is there's a volume knob on them. On the bottom, if you're not careful, you can accidentally bump it. And I control everything. I turn this all the way down and then control everything from the software on the stream. So yeah, so when it comes to volume, everything's controlled in the software. All right, we're just getting through the setup screen here. Would you like me to get it when you're done or after the stream is over? When I'm done, it's fine. You can come by. So it's not too much longer here. I just want to do a BIOS update on the motherboard since it hasn't been in for service for a while. So I want to make sure we get a BIOS update done on this, and then also you know, get the drivers installed and all that. So, and then I want to run some benchmarks on it as well, just to make sure, you know, for example, the CPU has been blocked for well over 2 years. I just want to see its temps to see if we need a repaste. If we need a repaste, it takes just a few minutes to do that. But while it's in here, it's good to do, right? So, but it looks like new again, outside of a little bit of residue on this filter on the top, which you could soak in some water and let it dry and then put it back on if you want to try to clean that up. If I had more time with it, I would do that. That is something I will do if I had more time to clean that. Especially when a PC comes in for physical clean, and that's the whole purpose. All of those get soaked and scrubbed. Scrubbed. Interwebs. All right, so now we're in Windows. I'm going to go ahead and get the BIOS downloaded for this board and the display drivers so that we can start the capture card and you guys can follow along what I'm doing on the screen here. I'll just start with the display drivers for the RX 6600. So how's everybody's night going? My day has been ridiculous. Started with, hey, I'm gonna stream, and we don't start the stream until later, of course, you know, because that's just in Power Gaming fashion, because everything else throughout the day, and then also the parts that I had for this, I had placed an order for a 1TB M.2 SSD, and it was a web order pickup from Micro Center, and they accidentally gave us a 512, but charged us for a 1TB, so I had to go back and deal with that. And I didn't have any other 1TB on hand, and that was actually another problem. I was supposed to have multiple 1TB in that order, so they only gave me one 512 for the multiple 1TB, and they charged me for the 1TB, one single 1TB, which is weird. And then there was a couple other things that was priced that I had ordered. They charged me more on as well. They were mispriced. So it was a complete mess yesterday with Micro Center run, with the Micro Center run that we had, unfortunately, which delayed this repair, because this was supposed to be actually started earlier this morning, but we found out we were having we had incorrect parts. So here we are doing it later in the evening, which is when I was actually supposed to be done for the day. So or close to it anyway. My service, the phones are good till 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. So I'm around the phones until 8 p.m. Okay, display drivers should be done after this reboot, and then we can move on to getting you guys, I'll actually do the BIOS update first, because once we're in the BIOS, you're not going to be able to, the capture card's not going to pick it up because of the low resolution. I will get a new capture card here soon. It's going to happen, because I'm sick of dealing with this. The shenanigans. Sick of dealing with shenanigans from the capture card. Need to place this capture card in trash bin. CPU. Hello, go Lions! You're telling me. They've you know, that was just like when it's on my bucket list to see them win a Super Bowl, and I didn't imagine that it would happen so early in my lifetime. My vision for the Lions winning a Super Bowl was when I'm like, you know, 90 years old. If Stafford was here, he'd be able to make that. Stuff like that, you know. I'm sure. Yeah, I know. I've only had to deal with it for a little less longer than you, right? Just a little less longer. Not by much, but I don't know, I'm trying not to like call your age out here. Trying to help you out. But I'm not going to say nothing about the Lions, man. Last time they were playing, We were playing poker while they were playing, which I don't know why we did, but weird choice of games. I was losing money while the Lions were winning, and I was happy. We play for the maximum buy-ins like $10. It's nothing, pennies, but still. Texas Hold'em. Yeah. Okay. But I gotta finish this. Okay, you go eat. Yeah, they're woofing? Very, very good. Yeah. Okay. All right. Getting the BIOS downloaded right meow. Spent time at the track today for the upcoming i500. Worked with a friend to get HDMI over IP and fed all the display TVs. Nice. It's a lot of fun. Do. All right, BIOS update underway. Let's go. Rebooting. Had to laugh. Not sure what processor. Forgot to look, but had a 3060, 64 gigs RAM. Just a lot of overkill for how it's being used. Yeah. That happens a lot. Especially if it's like at a HP or Dell and you get on the phone with them, they talk you into like adding more of that stuff to upsell when you don't need it. It actually happens quite often. All right, I'm starting the M-Flash now. Hope we make it without a power outage. MSI folder, where art thou, MSI folder? And then I created the B460M VDH Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, there it is. We're going from a 1.4 to a 1.7, so it hasn't been too long since its last BIOS update, but still, good thing to do. Watching the Royal Rumble pre-show right now behind the announcers was someone with a Go Lions sign. Oh, nice. Well, I'm probably just going to finish up this PC and call it a night, because we've had a long day. I've actually been in the car, it feels like all day, but it wasn't. It was only like an hour-ish or so in the car. And I just have a whole bunch of estimates I got to sit down and write, because I've got a lot of custom build requests in right now. And the majority of them are all open loops. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden everybody wants an open loop. So I've got all those estimates to write. So I'll probably finish up this PC for you, man, and then I will probably call it a night for the stream. I'm just gonna do this one. I've got builds to do, but none of them are order related. They're all inventory builds, so we can always fire that up. If not tomorrow, Monday. And do a couple of builds. Orders, I have a couple incoming, so we got builds to do later. Then I'm still working on a really cool video about how to make, you know, one of the cheapest PCs you can really build today for 1080p gaming. Generally figuratively speaking, I guess you can probably do a PC for about 180 bucks. And get some pretty decent 1080p performance out of it. It's not going to play, you know, Call of Duty above 60 FPS, but it'll play pretty much anything you want. CS2 or Rocket League or Fortnite. It's going to do really well on those titles. Even Apex Legends, actually, it'll do pretty good with. But the Call of Duty, with its issues, not going to run that great. It's going to be like limited to 50 to 60 FPS in 1080p. Okay, BIOS update has completed successfully. So now, I'm going to go ahead and try to get our capture card going. See if it fires up. It fired up, but we need to push this button over here. Bam. There we go. Now I'm just floating out in the middle of a desktop. But this is the PC here, so we've got it running at the moment. Windows installed. Now I've just got to... I'll just maybe do some of these updates while we're sitting here. I'm sure there's a few. And then we'll get the drivers, the chipset drivers for this thing. So I'm going to go back to this page, which I was at earlier, to get the BIOS. And we'll download all the drivers for the motherboard. So Windows 10, Intel chipset download, audio download, LAN, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. Don't need the don't need these. Don't think we need that, but we'll grab it anyway. MSI Center download. We already got those. That was actually the Windows 11 version. I don't think it matters, but I will re-download it just in case. Where's the Intel ME? Isn't that supposed to be here? Whatever. Yeah, look at all those updates. No, sir. I am not interested in running this. I've already downloaded everything, so I may as well finish it. Oh, there you are. Nice of you to join us. Actually reminds me, while we're making the CPU work, I'm gonna open that up. The tool that I'm gonna open is HW Monitor. It's gonna basically keep track of the temps and let me know if the CPU is getting a little too hot while we're making it work. It's a quick, easy way for me to kind of determine if we need to replace that thermal paste or not. Although this CPU is extremely efficient, that's in here. And it's doing pretty good with the load right now, so Are you currently using the Wi-Fi on this system? Because I noticed that one of the Wi-Fi antennas was damaged. We'll have to reboot before we do that wireless driver. No, use the Ethernet cable. All right, do you use Bluetooth by chance? Is it because we can get you replacement Wi-Fi antennas? I just noticed the tip of the Wi-Fi antenna was stuck on the nub on the back, so it looks like the Wi-Fi antenna was accidentally bumped off or ripped off. So you can always order more if you need those, or either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. They run through the same antennas. So if your Bluetooth isn't working right, that is most likely why. You can order the Wi-Fi antennas on Amazon. I think they're like 15 bucks or something. They're pretty cheap. Not very expensive. Alright, just waiting for that to finish, and then let these updates finish. We have download errors. Some updates are in progress. We'll try to install later. We don't want those anyway from Windows. Naughty Microsoft. Trying to take over the world here. No, I don't use the antennas at all. I think I put them on because I wasn't sure if they were needed. Okay, gotcha. Well, they're needed for Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So if you're using either or, they are needed. We're going to go ahead and restart. Reboot. And then once that finishes, we're going to just run a quick benchmark on it just to make sure the card's running good. And the temps stay good on the CPU. And then we do have to deal with the Wi-Fi driver that we couldn't install because of the Windows updates that were holding us up. So we have a reboot, and then we had to do the Windows or the Wi-Fi driver, and then finish the MSI Center setup, then benchmarks. Then we should be good. I did a little bit of the work before I started, so made this process quicker. Go Windows updates. Go, go. That's right. I love how Microsoft gave up on giving us like a progress bar, or anything that tells us how much longer it has to completion. Instead, they just give us a spinning circle of infinity. It's their way of giving up on estimating time. But if you remember back in the day, whenever you did anything, it'd always give you like estimated times. And it would always, instead of decreasing, would go up. That was always, of course, because of the speed of a hard drive, generally, that caused that problem. As you were working or using the computer, the drive speeds would lower, or the read-write speeds would be less. Not the problems we used to have now with the solid-state drives. But Windows still gives us, or Microsoft still gives us, a spinning circle of infinity, because they'd rather you not know how much longer it has. You're one sub away from 400 on YouTube. Oh, nice. Sweet. Hey, what's up, some giant idiot? Welcome back, sir. Apparently, we're one sub away from 400 on YouTube. Why are we spinning? Well, this is the party, man. Welcome to the spinning circle of infinity by brought to you by Microsoft. I can't even talk. Brought to you by Microsoft. The spinning circle of infinity. We're updating right now. I'm just trying to finish this up. So we'll dance, you know, that's your entertainment. A little small, like, small boxed in green screened version of me in the background dancing while we wait for Microsoft. Come on, Microsoft, we don't have all day. Don't you know I'm live? No, it's just normal Windows 10 updates. I actually could have updated my USB drive because I haven't redone the installation files in a while, and usually when you do the installation files on your USB external USB drive, it'll download the majority of these updates so you don't have to do them when you reinstall Windows. And it's been a while since I've done mine, so it's part of my fault. I could have prevented this. Hey Carol, thanks for the like over there on Facebook. Oh, Greg. Michael, I am sorry, but I totally missed the fact that you sent me 99 stars over on Facebook. It was probably when my sister was announcing her engagement right when I started streaming. Soup. Time to heat up the soup? Alright, well, all you gotta do is take your CPU cooler off the CPU, place the bowl onto the CPU with your soup, and remove it from the CPU once boiling. That's how you, if you don't have a stove and you have a computer, that's how you warm your soup up. You can even apply some thermal paste in between the bowl and the actual the CPU. Help transfer that heat quicker. I actually have no idea if that would work or not. Probably one of the dumbest ideas I've ever talked about here on the stream. But I am curious to know if that actually would. You know, you guys want to try that sometime? Can we cook ramen on a CPU? Come on. Holy smokes, this thing's taking a while. I did not expect it to take this long. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my gosh, we just hit 400. Hey guys, we're at 400 subs on YouTube now. I don't know who subbed, because for some reason it's not telling me. So whoever subbed over on YouTube, thank you. We just hit 400. Celebrate! Anyway, yeah, so let's go take a look on the side view here, because instead of staring at the updates, you can stare at this pretty machine. There you go. Nice and pretty. It's all cleaned up. Deep cooler, yeah. The OGs. It's one of the OG deep coolers. La da da. Oh, they gave me a percentage now. We're at 28% working on updates, guys. Can the fan colors change? So I believe on these two on the front and the one on the rear, those are LEDs, meaning they're just a static rainbow color. But this one on the CPU, I believe, can change. Which I'm looking for the connection for the RGB. Yeah, it should be plugged in. So yeah, this fan can change here in the middle, the RGB there, but the two on the front and the one on the rear cannot change. We can always upgrade the fans. There's a kit actually by Thermalright. You could buy a pack of 3 120mm fans. They're like, I think like 15 or 20 bucks right now, and replace all 3 of those fans and make it so that it syncs to the motherboard. So that's definitely doable for like 20 or 30 bucks, or 20-ish bucks. But originally when we built this, I put the entire budget into maximizing your CPU, your the RAM and storage. And at that time, when we originally built this, prices on parts were just outrageously expensive. Like that graphics card we had in there, that RX 550, was the same price as this graphics card that we just put in, which this graphics card is like 10 times the amount of graphics card as the 550. So way more performance, and you know, prices on parts came way down since then. So much better time to buy parts right now, except for SSDs. They're actually gone up in price. The 1 terabyte SSD about 2 months ago was about $40. Now they're about $60 for 1 terabyte. Depending on which one you get, it actually might be more. We're back. So it's definitely something you can add. Is there anything else that's outdated that needs to be upgraded? Well, you could use an upgrade for your CPU if you're doing anything more than just gaming and whatnot. You could probably do an i5, and actually you could get a really good deal on a 10th gen i5 right now. They're like, you could find them for around $80 to $100. So you can go from the i3 to the i5, and that'll give you 2 more cores and a few more threads to work with. So that'll give you a little bit of a boost on the CPU. And then the RAM, you could go up to probably 3200 megahertz on the RAM and go up to 32 gigs if you want to add more. But I mean, everything else, it's still a solid 1080p gaming PC. I mean, it's not much more you need to really throw money into. For 1080p, the single do just fine. But you're going to notice a significant FPS difference between the RX 550 and the RX 5 or the RX 6600 that we put in. Huge difference in performance there. So immediately off the rip, you're going to notice a lot more FPS in your games, in your titles. This card will do way better for you in the system. It's the #1 card for any type of like lower budget, because this card can handle pretty much any 1080p title you want to throw at it, and then it also can handle actually some 1440p games in 1440p actually, in pretty good performance. But it also, you know, for the price, it's basically what you're looking at is dollar for FPS, or dollar, your price to performance ratio, I guess is what I'm trying to explain. This is the best card for that situation right now. Beats most of the NVIDIA cards in the same price point. Just it lacks the ray tracing on it and some of the, I guess, streaming features and other key features that NVIDIA offers, but I still think this card is better than any of NVIDIA's options in the same price point. Can it handle VR well? Yes. Yeah, definitely can. You can run VR on this. So if you look here, oh, we're not on the right camera. Hello. So if we switch over to this, and I zoom in for you. And maybe if my camera focuses. I don't know why it's not. But you can see, and I don't know why it's still blurry, but it's VR, where is it? Radeon VR Ready Premium. If that means anything. But yes, it'll be way better with the VR versus the 550. It has way more VRAM and just way more power than that 550. So you're going to see a significant increase. Yeah, you won't have to run that low resolution anymore. It'll be way smoother and way nicer. So really the only other thing that I'd suggest upgrading next is your CPU and your RAM. Those are the only other two things that I would recommend upgrading after the fact. And those aren't really even requirements. Those are just to give yourself small percentage gains. You know, the i3 will handle this card just fine, but you're going to find titles where this card can do more, and it's getting bottlenecked by the i3. So that's why I would say go to an i5 next. Okay, MSI Center, I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to spin. I think that's it. We can start the benchmarks. Sometimes I think running it from the drive is faster than trying to run it from the USB drive. So that's why I copied this over. Come on. Just finish, brah. Let's go. Thank you. Yeah, we'll just run it like that and see what it does. Oh, now I'm in a forest. Nice. Running solid. It's got a little bit of a coil whine. Now that we're sending lots of power through the card, you can kind of hear it. But it's running pretty good. Off the rip. We're floating or hovering around 150 plus FPS. This is the initial start, so I has returned. So was the soup worth it? Trying to dodge those trees, yo. Looking good, though. It's really snappy. It's responsive. We got all the drivers installed. I'm pretty happy with all of it so far. You got it physically cleaned up. The card isn't even caring about the load, honestly. Some of the fans are just going to zero chill. So that means we're getting some pretty good airflow. But we do have the case panels off right now, so. But I think it's running pretty good. I am happy with the results. How about you? Normally I would let this run for a few hours, you know. Just and with the panels on. Just get the true temperature results here. But I know you want to get it picked up. Should I come by and get it? Yeah, I think we're at a point where I'll be finishing or wrapping up the stream here in just a few moments. And yeah, if you want to swing by and pick it up, should be good. I'm going to take a look at that old storage, though, and see if we can get anything off of that. Is there any data that you need recovered off any of that data? Well, let me try to retalk that. Is there any data that you need to recover off the old storage? No, you just have a lot of large games downloaded. Well, if you need to download anything here, you can. If you have time to hang out here for a little bit, you're more than welcome to. Because I know where you are is actually where I grew up, and I know the internet service is not that great. My parents actually still live there, so I know what's available in town. So if you need to download something, you can do it here. I've got gigabit download speeds. Maximum downloads! So for example, like Fortnite takes like 10-ish minutes to download. If that. Warzone, though, that's a good, 20-ish minutes because it's pretty large. But if you want to download a couple of big games that you had on here and you need to borrow the service, you're more than welcome to hang out here if you want to do that. You just might hear weird noises because my sisters are over, or one of my sisters are over. One of my many sisters are here. But it looks good to me. I don't think I need to really change this curve. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it. And everything else looks good. I'm going to call it. Why not? See if there's any more updates here. More freeloaders, eh? Yeah. Yeah, I mean... back when my parents' house burnt, when they lost their house to a fire, you know, my house is like 1,200-ish square feet. It's not very big. It's pretty small. And all of my siblings that were still living at home with my mom and my dad, nobody got hurt in the fire, but they lost the house. But all of my siblings lived here with me for quite some time. And I went from, you know, a family of 9, right, over at home. I moved out, got married, got my house, had kids. So I went from me, my wife, and two other, my at the time, one child, to all of a sudden I had all of my siblings here again. And it was such an abrupt change to my schedule and way of life. Going from craziness back at home, moving out, finally figuring my stuff out, having my own schedule, my own bathrooms, my own house, it was crazy. It was such an abrupt change back then. When all that happened, it took me a minute to adjust. Like, I couldn't wake up and then just go to the shower. I woke up and there was a line to get into my own shower. Just as an example. Like, okay, I guess I'll call the boss and let them know I'm not going to be there yet. I have a line to get into my shower. Can't really do much about that. I don't know why it keeps trying to download that crap. Yeah, buzz off. We don't want it. Download error. Well, let's retry. Yeah, that was quite a few years ago, so we're still in the same house. My parents rebuilt all that. It was a mess, though. Don't recommend you know, any of that, because it's a mess. It's just a huge mess. All right, so we're just waiting on these Windows updates. I'm going to get the panels cleaned up here, and then we can close out for the night. So I'm going to get the panels and clean them up. about the best I could do. There's some rub marks and scratches on it. Not much I could do about that. Yeah, I wanted to plug that in and see if that fires up. I forgot I was going to do that. Just curious if the old drives that were in here are going to fire up at all. Yeah, no. No comprendo. Or no, what's the term? Doesn't work. I'm gonna leave that unplugged so it doesn't spin. The hard drive is definitely dead. No bueno. Much cleaner. Look at how sharp that looks now. Super sharp, right? Looks like we're good to go. Right on, guys. I'm going to call it here for the night. I know I didn't stream for very long tonight. Hour and 30 minutes. But it's all I got in the tank for today. We'll have... I'll definitely be streaming again early this week. Because I've got a whole bunch of inventory builds we got to do. And I just got to do them. And they've just been sitting here. So take it easy. Thanks, man. Yeah, I think I'm going to have the rest of the weekend probably off. Unless anybody calls me and says something's broken. Which I feel like happens every time I try to have a weekend off. So, shouldn't have said that. Should not have said that. But I'll be back. Oh, already here. We'll see you later, guys. Have a good night.